Welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good night so far. Hope you guys had a wonderful day, and happy 23rd. Happy Michael Jordan Day, y'all. Tomorrow's Kobe Bryant Day, and then we got Christmas Day, and then a couple days after that, we got New Year's and crazy times. Be sure to check back in on Christmas. I got something pretty cool. Those of you who've been asking to hear what I sound like on the guitar, you're going to get your wish that day. And I'll leave the rest of the details alone until then because we're just a couple days away. So the rest is a surprise. Hope you guys like it. I hope you guys tune in and check it out. It's not like it's a monetized video or anything like that. It's not for money, but I just thought it would be a cool gift. Anyways, we are still at the 23rd, so let's rock. Guys, we are watching the masterclass, the Michael Jordan masterclass, finally, the basketball fundamentals, and we are halfway through it. So far, he's been covering all offense. He covered free throws. He covered footwork as far as reading the defense. He covered fadeaways and how to read the defense on that as well. And shooting free throws with your eyes closed and the reasoning behind it. Ball positioning, fingers, hand positions. Like, he is going through all of it, and he's actually a really good teacher. This has been a lot of fun. So, excuse me. I'm assuming he's going to be covering some more defense in the second half, but let's find out together, huh? So happy 23rd, everyone. Thanks for being here. If you didn't watch the first one, the first half was this morning. Guys, like the video if you could, and hit that hype button if you could. It helps out too. Shout out to members, and I say let's go. I want to finish this one.
Now you're working without the basketball. And sometimes that's very important because the defense, you keep the defense moving. And if you keep the defense moving, it can't really set up to your progress. So, in moving without the basketball, there's a lot of different ways of doing it. Reggie Miller is a very good example of that, who moves without the basketball, and that's one of his strong talents. So if you have defensive players and you have offensive players setting your screens, here are some correct ways of getting to the basketball with an open shot, squaring up, and shooting the basketball. I'm gonna use my friend Fran to be the passer. And what I'm doing is using the defense, working towards the defense, and working with the defense to get myself open. So when I'm coming off a screen, for instance, and we'll let my other friend be my screener, and when I'm coming off the screen, I am now feeling that I'm gonna be open. So I'm gonna start squaring myself up to get the shot. So as I'm coming off the screen, I see the passer, I'm squaring up with my right foot pivoting, shoulder square to the basket, and then I'm into my shot.
And did you notice? Hold on.
To get the shot. So as I'm coming off the screen, all
right, what's his weakest spot right now? His back, right? So he's coming around the screen, and he's going to kind of close out right behind his back. Because what's the defender going to do at that point? You turn around and face up, and you're probably going to get stuck with the defensive foul immediately.
See the passer.
Boom.
I'm squaring
right
up.
on you. Right on you.
With my right foot pivoting, shoulder square to the basket, and then I'm into my shot. All right? So let me show you very quick how that happens. So I'm moving, squaring up, shoot. So the basis of that, when I come off the screen, I'm squaring up, I got my target, she gives me a great pass, I use my right foot, pivoting, bringing my left, my shoulders are towards your target, and now I'm in the same form to some degree as my free throw shot, which is a good form. Now, if the defense starts to cheat, say, if the defense comes here and he goes over the top, then I fade back. Now, it's a different way of setting myself up. Usually,
and this is what you see more common in the current NBA.
I take the left portion of my foot, square up, balance, and go toward the target. So let's see if I can do that fast. Defense cheats, use my left, square up, shoot. That's just some ways of getting yourself working without the basketball, getting your balance, and getting the shot off. Then sometimes when you get in that situation, you can't get the shot off. Now you work your way into the triple threat situation.
Yep.
If you're an offensive player and you're trying to take advantage of the defense.
Yep. That's what I'm liking the order of operations he's going through here, because you can see like every step he's got to bring in that footwork and that triple threat position. And he did that first. passing to the post.
Another phase of the game of basketball that's important is passing the basketball, because now you involve your teammates into the game.
Yep.
You can dribble, you can shoot, you can do all those things on your own, but once you start to pass the basketball, you start to involve the other players into the basketball game itself. Now, as they're practicing, they're doing some chest passing, which in essence of chest passing, you want to keep it on the chest level. So every target is to the chest, and your hands are flicking out towards your target, trying to create that same backspin that I talked about in your shot, so that your partner that you're passing to can handle the basketball with a lot of ease. Then you go to your bounce pass, which is what they're demonstrating now. You want to bounce the ball about 2/3 the distance towards the target that you're passing the ball to, or person that you're passing the ball to. Not halfway, because once you start bouncing the ball too high, you're getting the ball too high that the person that's receiving the basketball cannot handle the basketball. Mm-hmm. You want to give it to him in the best situation that he can handle the basketball. So if you pass it to him about 2/3 of the distance that's between you and him or her, he can handle the basketball in an operating situation. Then you're going to talk about your over-the-head pass. Over-the-head pass is extended arms, getting it over the defense, and your target is still right at the chest of the offensive player that you're passing the ball to, so he can receive it in an operating form or operating position to either move the ball on the chest pass situation, bounce pass, or he extends it over the defense and passes on to the next player. So passing is very important to involve your teammate as much as possible. Now, when you're trying to pass the ball into the post, let's show them how to pass the ball into the post. If the defense is guarding him and he's trying to prevent you from passing the ball into the offensive player, there's many ways of getting the ball to the offensive player. You can step around your defensive player and throw it to the target of the offensive player. As an offensive player, you always should give the passer a target in terms of where you're trying to throw the basketball. If it's here, throw it to the target. If it's away from the defense, if the defense is here, your target should be out here. The offensive player should throw it to the target.
Yep.
So,
hence why when Magic met Kareem, he asked him, where do you want the ball? What hand and how high and all that stuff. But yeah, usually the post player will indicate with their actual hand where they prefer the ball.
Over the top, chest pass, bounce pass, around the defensive player, and a lob pass. If the defense is fronting the offensive player, he sometimes can hold off the defense, and the lob pass comes over top, where he's in a position now to go straight to the basketball.
Yeah, and if you got somebody fronting you, basically it's the same body work for you as an offensive player, like you're boxing him out. You're essentially just boxing him out, creating that space so the lob can go right over the head. Man, you guys, my allergies been killing me in December.
The philosophy behind defense is you try to limit the offense's capabilities or options. When I'm playing defense, the first thing I try to notice is some of the weaknesses of the offensive player. And noticing, I look at his tendencies. Does he like to go right? Does he like to go left? Can he use his right? Can he use his left? Does he like to shoot? Or can he shoot? If he can shoot, I'm going to make him drive. If he can't shoot, well, I'm going to back off and make sure he doesn't drive.
That's the LeBron James trick. Yep, that's how you guard LeBron James. You step back.
Forcing him to do things that he doesn't want to do. And as a defensive player, that's what you try to do to an offensive player. You try to put him in an uncomfortable situation so he cannot be as effective.
You guys notice that even the shots that LeBron does make nowadays, there's nobody guarding him. He's got at least four feet of clearance between him and a defender. This is by design. It's by choice. That's everybody still to this day daring him to shoot. While if you got good shooters like a Steph or an MJ or a Kobe all the way at the 3-point line, you'll have 2 to 3 players on them. You know, because they do not want you to shoot that ball. But yeah, that's the first tactic. If you don't know a player and you don't know what their tendencies are, back off. See if they can hit a shot. If they hit the shot, now you have to step up on them. And once you step up on them, you know, the first time it's going to be a gamble. You don't know if they like to go right, if they like to go left. You have to start figuring out what they can and can't do until you can expose a weakness. unless there's not a weakness, and then good luck, you know. It is what it is. You can only hope to contain them at that point. But if you can find a weakness, you exploit it. But you can't just like do that off the bat if you've never seen a person play. You have to let them go through the motions and eliminate one thing at a time until you find something they're not good at. Stance, nice.
A good stance. And you got many ways of coaches trying to teach players how to get into a good defensive stance. What I was always taught, is to try to be shoulder width apart. I like to put my right foot forward so that I can either direct the defensive player or offensive player where he wants to go. And I can react a little bit better if I'm not too wide. If I'm just shoulder width apart, I think that I can react a little bit easier. If I'm on the ball of my feet, then I'm active. I can move a lot quicker. If I'm on the heels of my foot, then that means I have to get to the ball of my feet and then react to the offensive player. Sounds complicated, which is probably why most people don't want to play defense. Now, if I know that...
You have no idea, Michael. You have no idea how bad it was going to get.
Offensive player cannot go right, then I'm going to try to force him right. So I'm putting my right foot forward, giving him the direction in terms of where I'm trying to force him, and preventing him from going the way that he probably wants to go, which is left. Now, if
I'll use my Madden pen for this. Yep. If you go like this parallel, like he said earlier, offensive player has a choice to go left or right. If you go like this, that's you as a defender. You are guiding the defender to follow. You know, same thing as if you're going to go like this. You're telling him, go ahead this way. It'll be softer this way, you know? But really, as an offensive player, if this is what you're seeing on defense, like Jordan said, you can fake it and then actually go around because he's got no stability to turn around here. As opposed to if he's this direction, he can follow you to the hoop very naturally. But here, when you see people like breaking their ankles and falling down, yeah, cut around.
Offensive player wants to go left, then I am going to try to force him totally opposite of where he wants to go. So I'm going to force him right. If he wants to go right, then I'm going to force him left. So that means I have to put my left foot forward and influence the offensive player to go this way. If I'm guarding the guy at the center of the basketball court, because my reaction is a little bit better going to my left, I am going to put my right hand or my right foot forward, forcing the offensive player that way. Now, in terms of your hands, what do you do with your hands? A lot of coaches say your right hand is going to be mirroring the basketball. So if the offensive player is starting to look for a pass, you, as a defensive player, is going to sit here and mirror the basketball so that you can kind of deflect the basketball and not give him a direct passing lane to the offensive player or his other offensive player. Your left hand, if you're taking a right foot stance where your right foot is ahead of the left and you're trying to influence him to go to his right, your left, it's going to be sitting here charming at the basketball, trying to flick the basketball. Not this way, because that's how you get fouled.
Thank you. Why? Because the hand. If you're slapping down, you are smacking on top of the hand. But if you're swiping up, you're hitting the ball, and the ball will rip through the hand.
Offensive player is there. You're mirroring the basketball, and you're doing this, trying to flick the basketball loose.
Sorry, that looks pretty funny.
And if you're coming from underneath the basketball, you're not as opted as to foul the offensive player coming from underneath as you are coming from over the top.
Exactly.
So they teach you to keep your hands here, mirror the basketball, don't give any passing lanes to the defense.
Karl Malone is one of those guys. He used to swipe down a lot and get mad that they'd call fouls on him. But it's like, dude, you can hear the slap. You can hear you slapping that guy's hand from a mile away. Yep, poke the ball up. One pass away.
All right, let's illustrate one pass away along with two passes away. Where your focus is at a center point, you can see man and ball, and you're denying the offensive player the basketball. So your hand's going to be in the passing lane. Your eyes are going to be right over your hands because you can still see the ball and the offensive player, and you're in a denial situation. The denial means you're not going to let her get the basketball or let your offensive player get the basketball. My defensive stance is still in a balanced area, so I'm not out of my defensive stance, but I'm still in my stance and I can react to the movement of the basketball. My hands are still going to be in a position to play defense. Now, if he passes the ball over to my other friend here, which now becomes 2 passes away, my eye level changes to where I can see the ball and my man. If I have to point, I can point. So I'm still
actually, that's something a lot of coaches used to teach us to do when we were younger, is actually point in both directions. I don't know if I'd actually suggest doing that, but for practice, to learn this method, it actually is very beneficial because it forces you, you become a compass essentially, or like a clock, an analog clock, or whatever analogy you want to use. But it forces you to be center. You can't lie to yourself. Your eyes are face center. Your arms are going into 2 directions. And
defensive stance, my head straight ahead.
But if it's game time, don't do that.
I'm using my peripheral vision. Now, if he decides to take a dribble to the basket, I see that, I react, I step, slide. Now, as a defensive team, when I move or when you see the offensive man go to the basketball, if everybody is in the same stance where you can see the ball movement and see your man, we're going to react to that. We're going to react to the ball, but yet we're still going to see our man at the same time. That's how you team, from a team defensive stance, we call it being on a string. Let's talk about seeing your man and the basketball. It's a lot of ways that coaches teach that are not really correct, in the sense that you have to turn your head back and forth. We call that your head's on a swivel. It's just constantly moving back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, the easiest way to attack that is to keep your head straight at your target, or straight at a straight line, using your peripheral vision to see the ball and your man. You can see these 2 points, and you can point to them. You don't have to do this, because every time you do this, you lose your man or the ball for a split second.
I'm glad he's saying this, because I felt like I wasn't explaining this very well a couple minutes ago. This is exactly what I was talking about. Eyes forward.
Keeping your head straight and using your vision this way, you can see the ball, you can see your man. When the ball starts to move, you start to move, you change your focus point that much more, so you still maintain that peripheral vision that you can see both the ball and your man. Now, if you're going to sit there the whole time and do this, and this, where every time you hear, you lose the ball, every time you hear, you lose your man.
Yes, sir.
Even though you think you're fast enough to see both, some players in our league, professional league, it only takes that little split second for you to lose your man or the ball before you're at a disadvantage. So, if you're learning early on in your years and you want to learn now and work hard at it, focus on a point between the ball and your man and keep your head steady. And you can see both. I promise you.
This is incredibly valuable information. Now, what a teacher.
Now, in movement, when you move, as I was saying, as an offensive player, they want to attack the front foot. The reason being is, in a correct defensive movement, as you open up to guard the defense, to guard the offensive player going to your right, to his left, you have to pivot. You have to pick up this foot, pivot, drop step, and then slide. Keeping your defensive stance, keeping your balance, keeping your butt parallel to the floor, staying in a low position so you can move a lot quicker. Once you come out of your position and stand up, you got to go back down here before you move again. So most defensive coaches try to get you in a nice little balance where your butt is parallel to the floor and you're on the balls of your feet. Your hands are mirroring the basketball, your left is here flicking at the basketball. When you open up, you stay in that stance, step and slide. That's step and slide. That is the way you try to maintain a certain defensive position against an offensive player. Once you come out of that position, you're in a very vulnerable position, because now you got to get back into that position and then react to the offensive player. Now you see why it's a lot of work. And no one likes to do it, but yet, if you're going to be a complete basketball player, you got to be able to play both ends.
Yes, sir.
And in playing both ends, you can't just score, you got to be able to play defense as well.
Man, tell that to the modern
I'm going to bring
NBA.
my offensive player out here. Now I'm going to look at his stance. I'm going to look at the way he's positioning the ball. You remember, as an offensive player, I always said you have to protect the basketball. So if he's not protecting the basketball, I can flick at the basketball. So you look for that. Now, if he is protecting the basketball, that means he's pretty good. He knows his offensive moves. He's trying to really dictate what I'm trying to give him or force him to go. Well, as a defensive player, I'm trying to take away his options. So I'm going to step up, mirror the basketball, limit his options, force him to go one way. That way I can slide a lot easier going this way if I can feel I can influence the offensive player to go this way and keep him going that way. And then I'm more or less guarding the player, guarding the offensive player.
Yep. And when you're sliding in that straight angle, the goal is to basically create a wall. Your goal is to not allow by any means your player to get to the basket. You want to dare them to shoot, a contested jump shot. And if you're just sliding back and forth, there's no way they can blow by you as long as your foot speed is as long as you can shuffle fast enough. And if you can't, get back to training.
If I can do that, my job is done. If I can limit his options. Now, if he's a good offensive player, he wants to maximize his options. He may want to attack this front foot, which in essence, now, if he comes this way, I got to drop step, slide, not coming out of my defensive stance because now I'm giving him the advantage because I got to get back in my stance and slow him down and get back in front of him.
Yep.
So, as a defensive player, you got to work hard. You got to work hard to take away his options and limit his options. But at the same time, when he attacks you, you have to be in a good enough position to play good, solid defense. You should never come out of your stance. You should always be in your stance on the ball of your feet. Hands are very active, moving, trying to limit his passing, trying to aggravate him as an offensive player, create mistakes if he can make mistakes. If he's not really good, sound offensive player, he's going to give you some options to attack him from. You just have to pick those options carefully. And not with your hands, not with poor defensive stances, but with adequate and certain fundamentals as a defensive player. So if I'm playing him...
All right. And watch, if he does, when he's going to do a fake and go this way, watch how MJ just pivots. He's going to pivot the same way he does on offense. That way it's one added motion for the offensive player, one added motion for the defensive player, and it should cancel out.
And I'm moving, I'm stepping and sliding, I'm sliding.
That's the
using
wall.
My body, using my slide, standing in front of him, trying to contend his offensive capability.
Yep, can't get to the basket like that.
And then when he starts going different directions, I'm still stepping and sliding.
Yep.
Still stepping and sliding. I'm always balanced. I'm always on the ball of my feet.
This is awesome.
All right? Takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
No one says it's going to be easy, but to be a complete basketball player, you got to be able to play defense as well.
What does Michael think about conditioning and nutrition? Interesting.
Conditioning and nutrition is very important to participating in an athletic event. Not just basketball, but any other participation of an athletic event. I think you have to take it very seriously. It takes a lot of dedication. And I think it may vary from player to player. In terms of what I used to do, I used to work out every single day, some with weights, some without weights, just aerobic exercises. Stretching is very important. I think you should always involve stretching with your conditioning as well as with your pre-workout routine. I think in terms of just getting in shape and running, I used to run a lot of sprints. I used to do a lot of weights. That's going to improve my strength as well as my stamina. With basketball, stamina is very important, and I think you have to somehow make sure you push yourself every time you step on the basketball court. We should do sprints, long distance some, but my nutrition is very important as well. You got to eat 3 good meals a day. I should start off with a great breakfast, pancakes, cereal, something of that nature.
Carbs.
Go to practice, and then work out after practice, then have a great meal after practice, and then finish up on a great meal in the evening. Getting a lot of rest is very important. I think it's very hard for the individual to go out.
Getting a lot of rest, says Michael Jordan, the guy who never rested.
out and operate and demand his body to push itself if they don't have the proper rest. On game days, I used to eat my favorite meal, which is 4 hours before game time, steak and potato. And I felt like that gave me the energy that
carbs and protein 4 hours before game time. Interesting.
I needed to go out and play a good, hard basketball game and have great recovery time after that.
It makes sense. The protein's already in the body, and then the carbs are giving him energy on the court. Okay. I never thought about that, though. That does make sense. 4 hours before a game, get your carbs and your protein in your body, and you're burning them throughout the game. All right, Q&A. Does Michael ever get scared before a game? This should be funny.
I'm never scared to do things on the basketball court. Sure, I'm nervous because of the challenges, maybe the events that's happening around the game itself. But once I'm out there in the motion of playing, I have total confidence in my basketball skills, and that's going to get me to be comfortable once the game starts. But once the game started, I am not nervous. Before the game, I could be nervous. I'm pretty much nervous at every game. But once the ball goes up for the jump ball, I think all that nervousness just kind of goes away, and I revert back to things that I've practiced, things that seem to be very routine, and I'm very comfortable in that environment.
Yeah, think Bill Russell. The rumor is from all of his peers that he used to throw up before every single game in a locker room. Like, it was just a normal thing. Like, he was that nervous. But then once the game started, he dominated. And actually, I can relate to this feeling. I was always nervous before a game. But yeah, once the tip-off happened, I could care less. You know, like it's game time. Even worse so for me was performing music. So, you know, if I'm playing guitar on a stage, I'm dying out there. Like, I want to throw up before getting up on a stage. But once that first beat kicks in and my first note comes out of the guitar, I'm feeling fantastic. Like, I'm living in the moment. But that build-up, man, I don't know how to get over that. How can I make it to the NBA or WNBA?
Well, it takes a lot of work. I think you try to be the best or the most complete basketball player that you can be. To alleviate all your options or all your negatives and all the minuses in your game. To be able to be versatile and do everything, every aspect of the basketball game, I think gives you a better chance of being a complete basketball player and creates value amongst the team-oriented system. I think if you can play offense and defense, if you can pass the ball with some efficiency, if you can utilize the offensive capabilities that you may have, and certainly as a defensive player limit what the offensive player can do, and you do it effectively, then you're starting to work in the same atmosphere as an NBA basketball player or a WNBA basketball player. So you have your work cut out for you, but that doesn't mean you can't achieve it without doing some hard work.
And I'll piggyback off of that. Be honest with yourself when you're training and when you're practicing. So be honest with yourself means acknowledge what you're really good at and put that in the back burner. But most importantly, acknowledge what you're not very good at, and that's gonna just. You don't need to assess what you need to work on. You just got to be honest with yourself. So if you can't shoot free throws, work on your free throws. You suck on defense, work on your defense. Do that 70% of the time, and in the stuff that you're already good at, work on that 30% of the time. My favorite guitarist of all time, possibly him and Dave Gilmour. Steve Vai once said, basically, practice is for working on improving your tool set. You know, another trick in the bag, so you have something to pull off of. But you're not working on that during the game. During the game or the performance, the show, whatever it is, he said that's when you're just going to emphasize the things that you are the best at. You know, so you're the best. You're just accentuating all of that. But the second you're back into practice, you work on all of your weaknesses so that the next time you're on stage, you have more to introduce. You know what I mean? You have more that you can accentuate. But yeah, that's the way I see it. Be honest with yourself. We all have weaknesses.
I really don't understand the physics of jumping and how you increase that. The things that I can say that I did when I was a kid to improve my jumping are very basic things. I used to ride the bicycle a lot. I used to work on jumping. I used to just try to jump and try to dunk. And I guess if you exercise that muscle to that activity, somehow it's going to improve. How much it improves, no one can really dictate who's going to be the greatest leaper of all time or when the next player is going to be a great leaper. But those are the things, if you work on your jumping to some degree, it's going to improve some. Will it maximize your opportunities? No. I think to be a better basketball player, you don't have to jump high. You just have to be smart in how you utilize the skills that you've been given.
I mean, Wizards Jordan proved that. What makes players so afraid of Michael? Yep, fear is a factor. This is going to be a funny one. I never heard him be asked this question.
I think players are very respectful of my talents, mainly because I try to exert all aspects of my talents. They could not pinpointly say that I can only do one thing, and if they stop that one thing, then they can stop Michael Jordan. That was not what Michael Jordan was all about, and it shouldn't be what you're all about. I think, as I said, if you want to be the complete basketball player, the fear that you put in the opposition is you can do so many things well. If you can do so many things well, then that really enables them not to stop you or contain you or make you do things that you don't want to do. As an offensive player or as a basketball player, you always want to be in control and dictate what you're capable of doing on a basketball court. The more well-rounded you are as a basketball player, offensively and defensively, and have the skill level to be able to perform all the different skills on a basketball court, I promise you're going to put fear in your opponent as well.
And that's that tool set, that bag of tricks, or AKA nowadays, he had a bag. How did Michael Jordan improve his shooting?
My shooting improved mainly because defenders started to play me differently. Once I created an aggressive driving motion to the basketball, the defenders started to play off of me, which I was forced to take that shot and be effective with that shot. So I started working on it more and more because that's exactly what the defense was giving me.
This is exactly what I was talking about, the LeBron James thing. And that's why it frustrated me as I was a big fan of LeBron in his early years, was they're obviously giving you the shot. You got to hit the shot, but then he could not hit a jump shot for the life of him. He kept still trying to drive the basket. So instead of giving what the defense was taking him, he was trying to force. He was forcing himself into a trap, is what he was doing, and he sprung the trap and it failed miserably over and over again.
So as an offensive player, sometimes you have to revert back to just taking what the defense is going to give you. You don't always have to force the issue. The defense is going to give you some weak points or some points that you have to attack, and when those points show up, you should attack, and you should attack with confidence that you can, force them to do other things. If the defense is going to give me an offensive shot or jump shot, I should take that shot and force the defense to come out and play him a little bit closer, which opens up other options from an offensive standpoint.
Yep. Remember him in game 1 in the 92 finals against the Blazers? They dared him to shoot the three. Guess what he did? Punished him by shooting the three over and over and over again, until game 2, where they had to switch the strategy and said, screw that. Get on him, play up on him. And then guess what MJ started doing? He started penetrating and focusing more on mid-range and attacking the basket, because that's now what the defense was giving him. All right, how do I become a better basketball player? Man, work.
For all the kids who want to be a better basketball player, I think you should improve your weaknesses to where they become strengths, and at the same time, improve your strengths to where you don't have any weaknesses. So work at it well-roundedly and try to become the best basketball player you can be. Once you get to that level, then you're an MVP in your own mind.
All right, how does Michael feel about his defensive awards versus his offensive awards? Good question.
Defensive awards are much more prestigious than offensive awards because defense takes a lot of work. Defense is something that everybody is not capable of doing or don't have the desire to do. If you force yourself or challenge yourself to play solid defense and you do it very well and you receive awards for that, I think you should be very appreciative of those rewards because anybody can shoot a basketball in the hole. Very few people can stop the offensive player from doing the things that he probably would want to do.
I love it. What is Michael's favorite move? I mean, at this stage, this looks like second three-peat MJ. I got to assume he's going to say the fadeaway, right?
In my earlier years, I think crossing over, going to my crossover step and the jab step, triple threat situation was one of my favorite moves. And then later in my years, my turn-away fadeaway was probably the move that defenders had a tough time stopping, and it gave me the opportunity to capitalize on the multiple defensive situations and the double teaming that I had to deal with in the later portions of my years.
Yep. It was also better suited for the triangle, in my opinion. But before the triangle, he did do more of that top of the key, triple threat, ISO kind of stuff. All right, what is Michael's mental preparation for a game? Good question. For a lot of us, was just like listening to music.
My mental preparation for the game is very different than most. I try to relax myself. I'm a jokester, a prankster, if you want to say it that way. I listen to music, I joke around with the guys, I take my whole mind away from the game itself. And then when the time comes to focus on the game, I focus on my athletic skills and putting it together with the team and somehow collectively going out and doing our jobs each and every day. I challenge myself to be the best basketball player every moment that I'm playing the game of basketball.
Damn.
And sometimes that means tricking yourself in your mind to say that you can't do this or your weaknesses are here, but yet you still try to work on improving those weaknesses. A lot of people may say, well, Michael Jordan never had weaknesses. Michael Jordan had weaknesses. He just had to dig deep inside himself to figure out what they were and challenge himself to improve those weaknesses. So mentally, I like to challenge myself to go out and play a perfect basketball game. Although I know you can't do that. It's practically impossible to play a perfect game, but that doesn't mean you can't challenge yourself to do that.
Oh, man. This was awesome. This was really awesome. And you know what? He's dead right too. That's one thing I did wrong. Was I was really serious before a game. I did part of what he did. I used to listen to music to kind of hype me up, but I probably shouldn't have been hyping myself up, because that's like it's like mentally I'm already in the game before I'm in the game, and I shouldn't have been in the game yet because the game hadn't started, you know. So that's where like I think a lot of my nerves would come from, because I'm already like thinking about how this could play out, which is pointless because you can't affect the game until the game starts. So why focus on it and build up that anxiety? But yeah, joking around and playing around before a game, that actually, it sounds childish, but it makes a total lot of sense psychologically. Anyways, you guys, I absolutely loved this. This is one of those things, I had a request to do this a while ago, and I've been sitting on it for a while, and I finally got to it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, because not only did I learn a lot of stuff, I'm really, really happy to see that, yeah, just the mindset is there, and there's so much to, the two biggest things I've done as far as like things I'm passionate about has been guitar and basketball, and there's so many similarities, even though one is considered an art form and the other is considered a sport. So many similarities as far as like the discipline goes, being honest to yourself, knowing what and how to train and practice, and knowing what to do when you're on a stage or on the court. Like, all these things are very, very similar mindset wise, and then all the details are just in the specifics of the actual sport or the art. And it's just cool to see that the things that he's talking about, the reasons he's doing things on offense and defense, is exactly what I had taught myself through watching him. And to hear it actually through his own words and in his own demonstration here, that's really cool. Like, teenage me is really happy right now. I'm going, yep, all right, you did a good job trying to dissect MJ and why he's doing his things. I said it in the first video, I really wish we could like restore this video, like quality wise somehow. I don't know how that's done personally, but I would love to be able to do that and like just get this in the hands of a lot of young people who are learning the game, because this is, for being less than an hour, it was like 50 minutes worth of video. That's the best 1 hour a young person could ever spend while trying to learn the game. But anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed this a ton. So happy 23rd. I will see you tomorrow for the 24th, and then we're on our way to Christmas, everybody. So happy holidays to you. I hope you're enjoying them. Hope you're staying warm. And I'm going to head out for now. Okay, I'll see you all in the comments. I can't wait for the comments. This will be a very different comment section. And I'm very curious you know, I mean, put timestamps in and stuff, you guys. I'm really curious, like, what are the things that you guys relate to versus the things that I relate to while watching this video, because I'm sure we all have different life experiences. So anyways, can't wait to get in the comments with you guys, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Okay, see you tomorrow, guys. Like the video if you could, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and most importantly, it's the be water, my friends.